Hey everybody, Alex Kazora, SteelersDepot.com, back with a recap and analysis of this wild, wacky Week 11 loss. Unfortunately, Pittsburgh Steelers fall to the LA Chargers 41 to 37. Where to even begin with this game? What a week, what a game. Let's talk about it. Man, I don't even know where to begin. I guess starting with the defense is the best place to start, and credit to them for trying to lock things down late. But again, it's another scenario, different reasons this week, but the same scenario, I should say, of this defense not stopping the bleeding until the damage is already done, and so you saw a terrible, really first 3 quarters defensively in this game. The Chargers scoring points on their first 5 possessions. What was it? I believe 3 touchdowns or 4 touchdowns and a field goal or two, but running up the score early and often in this one. Long drives, 12 play drives, 98-yard type of drives. And obviously, we all understand one reason for that, all the injuries up front and across this whole defense. No Joe Hayden, no TJ Watt, no Minka Fitzpatrick, et cetera, et cetera. Chris Wormley gets hurt in game. He did return. But you're relying on a lot of young guys, new faces, guys that are not used to being in that role. I mean, heck, you're playing, there was a snap tonight where you got Daniel Archibong, Delonta Scott, Derek Tuska all on the field. You're playing Taco, obviously. I mean, he's a little more experienced, but it at times had a preseason feel. You're wondering, "Who's that new number 8?" "Oh, that's Carl Joseph." "Who's 61?" "That's Archibong." "Who's number 50?" "Is that Ryan Shazier?" "It's Delonte Scott." So, when you're so just thin personnel-wise against a really talented Chargers offense, these results aren't shocking, but they're still disappointing. And to me, it's disappointing just the lack of quarterback contain. You don't have to have TJ Watt or all-star players to contain the quarterback. It helps to have those guys, of course, but it's not a requirement, in my opinion. And so Herbert' ability to scramble on third down was huge in this game. Pittsburgh, for some reason, kept playing man coverage on third down. And so, you don't have sight line on the quarterback whenever he leaves the pocket and he gets big plays. And that was definitely a big factor. The Chargers were great on third down tonight. And so Herbert's ability to extend those plays and often run with his legs, 93 yards, I believe, is what he finished with tonight. That was a huge component in why this defense struggled, why the time of possession battle, I believe, favored the Chargers. I'm sure it did, and why the Chargers had so much success, especially again in those first 3 quarters. And really, Pittsburgh just did not have enough answers. Again, that lack of personnel. There are no easy answers in a situation like that. I'll give Pittsburgh that. But the pass rush was poor. Barely got to Herbert again, even though this team blitzed more because they had to blitz more. And that really, in theory, should limit the escape lanes. When you're rushing forward, it's harder to contain a quarterback than when you're rushing with 5 or more. But still, Herbert able to break contain. The run defense was not good enough in this game. Eckler just dominated run and pass game. Devin Bush again had his struggles in this one. We all know the story there. The weapons with Keenan Allen and Mike Williams and Eckler and Herbert and guys like that. But what it came down to late in the game, because you got some stops, Cam Hayward. I mean, just trying to do everything for this team. The tip pass, the interception. Cam Sutton, I thought, did play pretty well tonight. Overall, there was some up and down in his game. But you're in a position there where you're up to, what, 37-34 with a couple of minutes left, and you blow coverage. That Mike Williams 53-yard touchdown. I believe it's on Trey Norwood. I want to go back and watch this game. It was a nickel blitz. They've done that a couple times in this game, so I want to get a better feel for the coverage. It looked like cover two behind to me, Sutton in the flat, Norwood deep half, can't get beat over the top. Not 100% sure, but that was my initial inclination. So, coverage busted. It's a tough play for Norwood to make covering that ground, but he's got to make it. And he's late there. He bites. He's a step or two slow, and that's all it takes in the NFL to get beat for a long touchdown. So that one certainly hurt. But again, the Steelers team just battered, bruised, and just could not, contend with the great talent the Chargers have offensively. For the Steelers offense, I mean, you put up 37 points. I mean, that wins you a lot of games. Did not win Sunday night. Um, they finished the game 4-7 in the red zone, which usually you take that. It's not a perfect number. Usually you take it though. But this team got off to such a bad start, and even some of the red zone successes were like pulling teeth. That one was a fourth down incompletion to Claypool. You get the lucky PI call, and Najee jumps over the goal line the next play. So that was, I mean, it's a conversion. no one's going to remember the mechanisms by which it happened, but this team was, I think, 1 of 3 in the red zone to begin this game. You had the failed fourth down shovel pass, the fire move, which really should never been happening in the first place. Ben had a really bad underthrow of Chase Claypool on a great double move, should have been a walk-in touchdown. So that to me is almost much on Ben earlier in that drive than it was, how the drive ended. But not enough red zone rhythm tonight, and that was a big thing. 4-7. You could have easily been 5-7. You should have been 5-7, 6-7. That's so critical in these high scoring games, and so that was, I think, a part of it. The Steelers not able to run the football really at all tonight. Maybe by success, metric, it was okay. I don't have the numbers on that, but the 32nd ranked run defense the Chargers had without Jerry Tillery, without Linval Joseph, which is their big man in the middle. Both those guys are pretty good D tackles. That's really disappointing, and it's not because of game circumstance. When this game was relatively close, Pittsburgh could not still run the football. So it was from start to finish in this one overall. So that is highly disappointing. You got Hassenauer in there early with Kendrick Green, two pretty small guys, and then Hassenauer gets hurt. Haig comes in. He had issues with Joey Bosa tonight. That's going to be expected when it's Joe Haig versus Joey Bosa. But I thought overall just too many missed chances tonight. I thought Ben played really well given the circumstances. Not perfect again. That bad underthrow to Claypool, but 4-7 in the red zone. Felt like they could have been 5-7, and if you are, maybe Pittsburgh comes out on top ultimately. So I'll wrap this video up. Hopefully, you guys can hear this one early Monday morning as opposed to later Monday morning. I'm sure I'm leaving out a lot here. I usually do in these initial recap, just kind of want to get my initial thoughts. And of course, there's a lot to go back and watch and study and review and analyze. And we'll have that for you on Steelers Depot and on this channel as well. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Please like and subscribe if you guys have not done so already. Again, appreciate you listening, and we'll talk to you soon.